Thank you very much for joining us. We're looking at the new Spellbinders Glimmer hot foil system. And I designed quite a few of the plates for this system. So we're just looking at how these plates can be used in different ways, which Josie is going to show you how the system works.
So I'm just going to go ahead and just start. So I'm going to just start with the accessories that come with the machine. So some of the accessories that come with the machine are the tweezers. And the nice thing about the tweezers is they are magnetic tweezers. And there's a couple different ways you can use them. It can just pick up the plate, because this does get hot, or you can scooch it off of the silicone mat. And then you can just take it off like that.
It doesn't get that hot that it's going to scorch your hand, but it's best not to just sort of leave your hand on it. And obviously, if you've just had your nails done, it'll ruin your nail polish. So don't just leave it on the plate.
And then you're also going to get a silicone mat. And this, what you want to use this for is actually pulling the hot plate off of your tweezers. And also, this is a good place to rest the plates when you're trying to get them to cool off. You don't want to just set the plates down on your surface. You either want to use a heat-resistant surface or you want to use the silicone mat. So those are the two main pieces of accessories that come with the machine. You're also going to get rose gold foil. You're going to get silver foil as a starter kit, so you can just get started with the machine. You don't have to buy other things to get started. You're also going to get a couple of plates. You're going to get this beautiful decorative plate, and you are going to get a best wishes sentiment. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the machine itself. So it comes with a platform, which is the electronic part of the component of the machine. And here's your plug. And you can remove the plug from the machine. And then if you turn this over, which is great, you can store and wrap the plug around this area of the machine. And so that way it's nice and compact, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. And that's why we designed this to come off, so you can just really store it nice and tight. And then to use it, you just go ahead and push that back in. Make sure you have a good connection. And then you can just go ahead and put your platform right on there, and you're going to push it in. And when you push this in, it engages with the platform. And then there's a switch right here, the on and off switch. And then what happens when you turn it on, all three of these buttons are going to flash. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. This is exciting.
So exciting.
Here they go. They're going to flash. And then the two green ones are going to go off, and you're going to have just the power button on. And so when the power button is on and your platform is pushed in, that means this surface here is heating up and it's warming up. And like Paul mentioned earlier, you can't touch it. It is going to get warm. You don't want to leave your hand on it, but you're not going to burn yourself if you touch it. I know a lot of people are worried about that, but I've been working with this machine for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. That's how I got my nickname, Hot Plate. And I haven't burnt myself yet. So if I can do this without burning yourself, and I'm a klutz, you can do this too without burning yourself. So that's one of the most important things is just, and you can see here, it says caution hot, avoid touching it. And also you want to keep in mind that you do not want to use this platform for die cutting. It is strictly for your plates and for foiling. So if you are going to die cut afterwards, make sure that you do not put your thin wafer dies for cutting on here and run it through your machine. It will break the machine if you do that. All right, so now, as you can see, the green platform light is on. So once that platform light is on, you can go ahead and place your plate on the silicone non-slip surface. And the best thing about the platform is the grid lines, which I know you're a real stickler about keeping everything straight. So
I of course, the platform's on. So I'm just going to slide the plate off because it's not impossible to handle. And I designed my plates so that they can sit on the platform. So you can see how I'm using the grid as a baseline. And that's how I would line up the plates, a lot of the plates that I've designed. Because, I designed them this way so that you can place this at the top of a card, and then you have space underneath to write, because I want you to write with my plates.
The other thing that we need to let people know also is one of the safety elements that we built into this.
Mm-hmm.
If you do stop using it, the machine knows that you're not using it anymore and it will automatically shut off, which is nice. But you don't want to get in the habit of leaving your machine on and walking away from it. It's kind of like, when you iron and you just kind of walk away from your iron and it shuts off. It's a nice feature to have built into the machine. But, always remember, if you're not using it, just turn it off. It doesn't take that long for the machine to heat back up, so it's best to just think safety. And then over here we have a button that's called the timer button. So what you do is when you press that down, that's going to flash. And once it stops flashing, you'll know that your plate is hot enough for you to place your foil on top of it to get ready to run the platform through the machine to transfer the foil onto the cardstock. So it's really important that you wait until that flashing light right here turns solid.
So when you put the plate onto the heating element, and it's entirely up to you to line it up if you want. You then put the foil on top of that, and then the paper on top of that.
And then that's where the shims come in. So you're going to go ahead and put the first shim down on top of the cardstock, and then the spacer plate. So now that we've gone through the components of the machine, I'm just going to go ahead and switch this off. We're going to go through some of the projects and show you what is so great about this machine. And this is one of the things that I love about the machine. The plates are so beautiful that you don't have to do a lot to your cards to make a beautiful statement or to give somebody a beautiful card. And this is one of my favorite things to do. And I like to use watercolor paper for something like this. You want to use something that has a little bit of tooth and has a little bit of give and a little bit of thickness to the paper. And what it gives you is this beautiful letterpress watermark look, which I just love. And then
this is one of my designs, so I'm really excited about it.
And then here is the same idea, except I inked the plate to give you like a true letterpress. And then all I do is just take a decorative die, cut it out, use some foam squares or some adhesive foam tape, and there you have it. I mean, it's just a simple, beautiful card.
And one of the things about this particular, what Josie's talking about, when you use watercolor paper, you can use any kind of paper for this. All you need to do is just spritz the paper with a little bit of water. Obviously, don't run it under the tap. You just want the paper a little bit damp, just with a spritzer. And once you've dampened the paper and you've done that, and again, this comes back to your ability to be patient. Once the paper is a little bit dry, you can go back and you can do an inked pattern on top of that, on top of the blind embossed or debossed section. And don't forget, it gets raised on the other side. So there are different ways to apply this. And you can then go back and foil on top of that. So you can create a really great multi-layered pattern. So let's have a look at an invitation. Let's save the date.
Save the date. But you can also use this concept to do your invitation. So what I did on this one is I went ahead and foiled the outer area I used gold foil. You can use any foil that you would like, any color. And then I used a die cut to cut it out. And then I printed the information on the printer and then used a die cut to cut it out. And then I just layered everything and I just used different colored mats to bring out the color of the foil. And then you just have a really simple, beautiful save the date card.
Mm-hmm.
And if you carry this pattern all through your invitations, you have a beautiful invitation suite for a wedding, baptism. And then this one here, again, it's just the foil on the dark is beautiful. It just really pops when you do like a gold foil on black, or even the red on the darker color, I think is gorgeous. Like this is red on chocolate brown. And again, all I did was I just used a simple decorative die to cut it out. And that's it. And just added a few sequins and you're done. And so again, for me, the simplicity of using this and making cards, it doesn't take a lot of supplies. It doesn't take a lot of time.
And you can add little bits to it. I was saying earlier on, I hate glitter. I know some of you are shying away from it. You're shocked by that. But that you can make this much more simply. And if you do feel that you must use glitter, by all means,
You can. You'll allow it?
Yeah, I'll allow you to use glitter on my...
He will let you use glitter if
on my plates.
I like glitter, so I will use glitter. I admit it. I'm a glitter person.
Oh no.
I am, but just a little bit.
Okay.
Just a little bit of glitter. Right. But here's another card where you have the red with the chocolate brown. And this is just a simple, and this is some holiday paper, and then just a simple sentiment on top. And that's it, you're done. This card I think took me maybe 10 minutes to make it that. And
then, of course, we have, lots of different options. We're just going to go through these options for you to see. So here are some foil, obviously with the cutout background. And this one, oh, super. So this one can stand up on its own. So obviously you can make these portrait or landscape. And you can use the different foiling patterns, either portrait or landscape, obviously. I mean, even if you turn this landscape, you still get
the same, yeah.
So, it really does change the way that you will make cards, that you'll make stationery, social stationery. It'll, change the way that you add to your scrapbooking. You need this machine in your life, really. Trust me, you do.
And then here's a card where we used a thin wafer die and etch die to get this beautiful decorative edge. And this is the rose gold color that comes with the machine, which is right here. And it's such a beautiful color. I don't know if you can see that reflection of the rose gold in the camera. Again, I just used simple colored papers, just real neutral papers, and let the foil be the star of the card. And there's just a few embellishments. So again, let the foil be the star of the card and not all the embellishments. And then
of course, using different colored borders really does help to bring that out. So Josie's done a great job here using the gold on the red with the gold border. Is that the chocolate brown?
Yeah, it's just chocolate brown. And again, it's just simple matting. That's all you have to do is just foil your card, cut it out with a die. And if you, like I said, if you want to use a decorative border, this is a great way to bring all your dies that you've already collected in your collection and bring it into the foiling. So this way you can marry the two together, and just the projects that you can do are endless.
And so we're just going to show you one other thing, and this is this really lovely Christmas pattern. But the reason I'm showing you this, apart from the fact that it's mine and I love it, is this wonderful sunk plate border. Now, when I design stationery, one of the things I love with designing stationery is a cheat, or as I hear you guys really love this word, a hack, right? So this is a great hack. And what you do is you use a sunk plate border. And what that does, I don't know if you can see that. So let's just use the magic wand. You see that little raised lip there? Right.
And that just happens with the dies.
And that happens with the dies.
Yep. All you have to do is emboss it with the die.
When you're printing wedding stationery, if you flat print or litho print or digitally print, you can add a really lovely bit of elegance with this sunk plate border, because it gives the impression that the whole plate's actually engraved rather than just flat printed. And when you're adding the foil on top of that, it really amplifies the way that it looks. It's really exciting. It's really, it just really pops.
It just makes it more elegant. It gives it a more elegant look. So should we talk about some of the differences between this machine and the laminating machines,
Definitely.
What you can do? And I think one of the biggest things is that with this machine, you can foil on a lot of different materials. You can use leather, you can use ribbon, you can use fabric, and we'll go through that in a video later on. And this type of look here. So with the laminators, you can't get this beautiful embossed, debossed look that you can get with the foil plates. That's one thing that you can't do. And then
let's just show this very quickly.
Yeah, this one is just a watercolor resist. So you can either go ahead and watercolor the paper first and then foil on top of it, or you can foil and then do the watercolor on top of it. And the nice thing is the foil acts as the resist, as it would with any kind of watercolor resist. And you get just this beautiful effect of the organic look of the watercolor, and then with the crisp foil on top of it.
And equally, there are, even though we're using watercolor here as a background, and the foil is acting as a resist, you can actually use some really great products to draw on top of the foil that will stick to the foil. So you can work not just in levels as we have here, but you can also work in layers.
All right. The other thing that I love about the machine are all the different color foils that you can use. I don't Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, they're stunning, aren't they?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how they work with everything else.
Yes. And again, one of my favorite things to do is use the darker, like the blue and the red on that chocolate brown paper. It just makes it really pop. So here again, here's the color that comes from the machine is the rose gold and the silver. And then a lot of the samples that you see on the table, we're using the red. And there's also a matte gold and a matte silver and a matte black, which is gorgeous. And I don't have any samples here other than the sample board here showing those colors. But even those matte colors on the darker paper is just gorgeous. And at first when people are saying, oh, we're going to do matte colors, I'm like, no, but I want it to be shiny. But you know, there is a place for doing the matte transfer of the foil.
And don't forget, if you're using a matte foil, you can augment the matte foil with a shiny foil. So you can work with them together. Don't think that you're just going to be using one foil. So obviously you're going to have to get all the foils.
Right. Because one of the beautiful things to do is you can foil something and then put another plate down with another color foil, unfoil over it, and you can just keep doing that process. Just because you foiled something once doesn't mean that you can't go back in and foil it again. So that's another way to add layer and dimension to your cards is by using the different foils in conjunction with each other.
And of course, so the hotbed that we have here will go through most manual machines.
Correct.
So once you have this, and we will show you how this works, but it's very simple. All you do is, what I tend to do is I hold the handle and I push with my thumb, and that pulls it out, and then that can go through.
And then
most
that just goes through the machine. So your machine has to have an opening larger than 6 inches and 1/8. So if your machine will hold a steel rule die, your platform should work with your machine. The only thing that you may have to do is use some paper shims, and we'll show you how to do that in other videos where we're talking about tips and techniques. So I hope you guys enjoy everything, and I hope you have lots of fun with the machine and just playing around with it and enjoy it and experiment with it. And I hope you guys come up with some beautiful projects.
Thank you so very much, and we look forward to seeing what you're doing. Happy crafting.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a message. Happy crafting.